You've solved the problem, stabilized the data, and anchored the new behavior on the shop floor. The project feels finished. But for a Lean Six Sigma black belt, a project is never truly complete until it has passed the final gate. Too many brilliant initiatives slowly die a quiet death because the project leader simply walks away when the coding is done. In the control phase, we don't just stop. We execute a formal Control Tollgate review to officially hand over the keys to the line organization, lock in the financial savings, and celebrate the team's success so that the culture of continuous improvement keeps burning. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking the epic, highly structured journey it actually takes to get to that true finish line.
But before we get to that finish line, let's back up a second. I want to ask you something, and I want you to really think about your own daily operations. How many errors do you tolerate in a million opportunities? Seriously, think about it. If you're processing a million orders, or, manufacturing a million parts, what's your acceptable margin for mistakes?
Well, check out this number, 3.4. If you want to achieve the true Six Sigma standard, you're allowing a maximum of just 3.4 defects per 1 million chances. I mean, that is an absolutely extraordinary level of precision. It's an idea championed by pioneers like Bill Smith at Motorola, who saw variation as literally the greatest enemy of quality.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to systematically climb the staircase of the DMAIC methodology: define, measure, analyze, improve, and finally control, and we'll see exactly how a black belt leads this charge.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the philosophy, Lean versus Six Sigma. Now, people often mix these two up, but they're distinct. Lean is essentially like a corporate diet, right? It's a philosophy of stripping things back to their core by removing non-value-adding waste. It's all about optimizing the flow. Six Sigma, on the other hand, well, that's a rigorous quality system focused on precision. It's about delivering perfectly the first time by eliminating variance. So, to put it simply, Lean removes the organizational fat, while Six Sigma removes the actual errors from the output. Together, they cover the whole shebang, from the very first input all the way to final delivery. Moving on to Section 2, the protagonist, role of the black belt.
The black belt is kind of the hero of this story, and they basically wear three distinct faces. First up, they're the content expert. These folks are deeply versed in statistics and data analysis. Second, they are a team player and a true behavioral change agent. They guide the whole organization through tricky transitions because, let's face it, even the most brilliant statistical solution is going to crash and burn if the people don't actually adopt it. And finally, they are the project leader. They manage what we call the devil's square of project management, balancing quality, time, cost, and scope to make sure the project actually crosses that final finish line.
So how do they actually pull this off? They use the DMAIC framework. You can think of this as a two-part journey. The first half, define, measure, analyze. That's basically an investigative research phase. The black belt is acting like a detective, untangling this giant puzzle of a problem. Then the second half, improve and control, is a rigorous boots-on-the-ground implementation phase, focusing heavily on project management and, crucially, locking in those gains. Which brings us to Section 3, define and measure, finding the true problem.
It all starts with the customer, naturally. We've got to translate the highly subjective voice of the customer, the VOC, into objective, measurable metrics. We call these critical to quality, or CTQs. Using tools like the Kano model, a black belt can actually separate basic, everyday customer expectations from those true delighters. This establishes the absolute baseline of our target. Because honestly, if we don't know exactly what the customer actually values, we have no idea what we're trying to optimize in the first place.
Okay, so once we know our target, we map out the current reality. We use tools like a SIPOC to lock down the project scope. We also use Makigami mapping. Now, Makigami literally translates to roll of paper in Japanese, and it is an absolute game changer for visualizing hidden administrative or service processes. It exposes all those invisible bottlenecks, the endless waiting times, and the clunky handovers in an office environment that a traditional manufacturing map would completely miss.
Let's look at Section 4, analyze and improve, the statistical solution.
This is where the heavy-duty statistical detective work happens. We have to separate the true root causes from just the surface-level symptoms, which stops us from jumping to completely wrong conclusions. We brainstorm causes using the Ishikawa or fishbone diagram and the 5 whys. We assess and rank our risks using FMEA, which stands for Failure Mode and Effect Analysis. And absolutely crucially, we run rigorous hypothesis testing in software like Minitab to mathematically validate the true X factors that are actually causing our Y problem.
Take a look at this. This perfectly illustrates the Pareto principle. Time and time again, our analysis reveals that about 80% of our defects are caused by just 20% of the issues. It's wild, right? So by aggressively targeting these vital few causes, instead of getting bogged down by the trivial many, the black belt makes sure the organization gets the absolute maximum return on investment for their efforts. And finally, Section 5, Control, securing the final result. We lock in this final result using SPC, or Statistical Process Control. Live control charts act as the process's new heartbeat. By plotting real-time data against upper and lower control limits, your operations team can easily distinguish between natural, everyday variation, which is totally fine, and special, alarming deviations that demand immediate action.
But listen, a pretty chart is completely useless if you don't take action. That is where the OCAP, the Out-of-Control Action Plan, and our SOPs, or Standard Operating Procedures, step in. The OCAP is a concrete step-by-step flowchart. It literally empowers frontline workers to immediately stop the line, just like pulling the red cord at a Toyota plant, and troubleshoot if the process spikes out of control. It guarantees that the new, standardized behavior is strictly maintained.
Now for the ultimate moment, the handover protocol. Remember, project leaders don't own processes. Line managers and process owners do. So the black belt signs a formal agreement transferring daily ownership back to operations. Picture the boardroom sign-off. For BlueprintRM&co, the black belt proudly displays the final SPC chart, showing that the smart camera verification system has permanently dropped the high-end packaging error rate to absolute zero. Think about the thousands saved in tampered goods. Or over at Brummans HR Services, the black belt presents the standardized aftercare dashboard, proving that exactly 100% of placed candidates are now contacted at fixed milestones, which radically boosts client satisfaction. The dashboards and SOPs are handed over, the lessons learned are fully documented to enrich the company's knowledge base. The charter is signed closed, and the executive sponsor officially releases the team to celebrate the massive win company-wide.
So, I want to leave you with this thought-provoking question. Is your organization structured to constantly fix problems, or is it engineered to prevent them entirely? A structured project closure is what ensures that long-term sustainability. It prevents a process from sliding right back into chaos, it protects the capital you've invested, and it builds total confidence that Lean Six Sigma delivers bulletproof, lasting results. Keep optimizing, keep improving. For education and entertainment.